All right, we're going to get started here. Welcome everybody to the October 2025 MAS monthly meeting. I am Walt Strabergs, the MAS president, and we will get going here. So let's go. So our agenda for tonight is, as usual, we'll do our welcomes and introduce the board. We'll get our membership update, and I will go through the Astro events that I have found for the month of October up to the next monthly meeting, and go through outreach requests and cover all of the upcoming MAS events and a couple of events that are outside of the MAS. A couple shout outs, and then we will announce the 2025 MAS board elections. Elections are coming up, and we do need to elect a couple new board members, three new board members. We'll have the treasurer's report, and then Jerry Jones should be in the house, and we will have some AL awards, hopefully, and some other stuff from AL. And we do have a member presentation from Suresh today about the upcoming comments. So it's going to be a really good talk. And public service announcements. And then we go into our featured speaker, Peter Birren, who will join us online on Zoom. All right, so let's get going. So MAS board here, I believe everybody on the board is in the room. So I am Walt Strabergs, president, John Zimich, vice president, Claire Weaverling, secretary, Noha Reda, treasurer, and Jesse and Phil, board members at large. Thank you. If there's any questions on any board topic, any administrative topic, please feel free to contact any of the board members or all of the board members, and you can do so through the website mnastro.org about/board contacts. There's a form that you fill out and gets directly into our inboxes. So any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, it's all welcome and it's all good stuff. All right, welcome new and returning members. We get this report a couple times a month from Steve, our membership coordinator. So Chris Brockman, David Brown, Charles Dymack Jr., Brett Erickson, Barb Pori, Santosh George, Stephen Jameson, Rick Johnson, Federic Korsakov, Mohammed Yusuf, John Salter, Samuel and Joe Sands, Martin Saunders, and Will Tracy. And welcome back, Joe Reithmeyer. So as of yesterday, we had 684 total members, 3 of which are honorary, 156 are patron members, 496 are regular members, and 29 students. So if you have any questions about the membership, the contact is right there. You can talk to Steve sitting up here in the front, or email membership@mnastro.org about all of our any membership perks or any of the benefits, or any questions about membership at all. All right, Astro events. This is what I found online. October 5th, the October camelopardalids. So another exciting meteor shower. Yes, I know Claire's happy. And then that same day, we have the conjunction of Moon and Saturn. Saturn is just past opposition. Very nice. Perfect placement. So full moon on October 6th, the Draconid meteor shower, October 8th. Moon and Pleiades are close on October 9th. And then we have another stunning southern Taurid meteor shower, October 10th. Yeah, very stunning. And then we have the Eta Aurigid meteor shower, October 11th. Or the Delta. Is that Delta? That's Delta Aurigid. All right, October 13th, Moon will be at last quarter. Conjunction of Moon and Jupiter about October 13th as well. The asteroid Eris will be at opposition, so that's an imaging challenge right there. October 18th, the Eta Geminid meteor shower, another stunner. October 19th, conjunction of Moon and Venus. October 20th, conjunction of Mercury and Mars. Orionid meteor shower, that one might be worth checking out. October 21st. New moon, October 21st. So Orionids should be good, close to the new moon. October 23rd, conjunction of Moon, Mars, and Mercury. Leonis Minorid meteor shower, another barn burner right there, October 24th. October 29th, moon at first quarter. October 31st, Mercury highest altitude in the evening sky. So a good apparition of Mercury at the end of about Halloween time. Conjunction of Moon and Saturn, November 2nd, and then full moon, November 5th. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Titan transit. It's the last one. Is that's just a grazing one, right? Yep, it's the last one that we're going to see. All right, space launches. We're a couple weeks away, or less than 2 weeks, I think, from the SpaceX Starship Test Flight 11. Roughly October 6th. That's the no earlier than. I think they pushed it out a bit later, but that's the last of the Block 2 Starship variant before they move on to the new launch mount and the new Block 3 rockets. And then Falcon 9 will be launching some rideshare missions, Bandwagon 4 from Vandenberg. SpainSat is another large communication satellite for Europe going up. Viasat will go on an Atlas V. And then Japan is launching a HTV cargo mission to the ISS. So, and then potentially New Glenn will be launching the Escapade mission. And then ISRO and China also have quite a manifest, and I didn't go into details on that, and I don't talk about Starlinks anymore. There's so many Starlinks. There's over how many are in orbit now? About 5,000. A lots, lots. So my resource is in the sky.org for most of the astro events, and just lots of research on the rocket stuff because that's what I like doing. All right. All right, outreach requests. So I go through every month the current outreach forum. Jesse does a great job keeping everything up to date. So these are the outreach opportunities that are available for volunteers right now. So October 3rd, Mississippi National River and Recreation Area. And there's also a Bell Museum Star Party with a table. And I believe there's only a couple people signed up for Bell Museum. So really would like to get to see a couple more people at the Bell. Minnesota Landscape Arboretum, October 5th. And then David Schaff asked for me to push the Hamlin University Night Festival, which is on October 9th. And they're looking for a couple people with telescopes between 8 and 9 p.m. So it's a short evening, but it's, according to David, it's a fun evening. So that's another opportunity. And then October 11th, the Sally Manzara Interpretive Nature Center in Lake Elmo. And then either on November 1st or at the end of November at JJ Casby, they're looking for a Girl Scout group, which could be about 20 people total. November 14th and 15th, there is at ELO a request for Crown College Faith and Science Club for an outreach activity. And then way down into the winter, Robert Ney Regional Nature Center in Wright County is looking for some volunteers, anybody who's there. So to sign up, look on the MAS forum in the outreach sub-forum, and all of the active forum members, opportunities are there. And just respond to Jessie, and she'll reach out and put you in touch with the appropriate people who are coordinating that particular event. So lots of opportunities for outreach. All right. Another one that's not necessarily a MAS event, but I highly support is Michael Cowper tomorrow is hosting another Planets in the Park at Pershing Field in Southwest Minneapolis from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. He really does a really good job, and brings astronomy to the urban cities. So I really support him on all the efforts that he's done. So it says telescopes, friends, and planets. And he's going to concentrate on the moon and Saturn, and that's a clear or cloudy event. All right, beginner special interest group. So Saturday, October 11th, 5:30, Suresh? 5:30 p.m. at Metcalf. Bring your telescope, sign up with Suresh or on the beginning forum on the website, and bring your telescope, get help from members if you want to learn how to do something new, or don't know which way is up on your telescope or which way to stick in the eyepiece. then that's the forum to do it. It's casual, it's fun, and we've had what is it, 6 for 6? We're going for seven straight B-SIGs this in a row that haven't been canceled. So hopefully everything is good. So it's a fun event. Everybody should participate. All right. Also, we have a new member orientation meeting scheduled. So Rebecca will be hosting that at the Roseville County Library in Maplewood, Saturday, October 4th at 10:30 in the morning. So that's for new members to show up, and she goes through all of the club benefits and kind of highlights the observatories and some of the activities that the club does and the things that you can do as a club member. So Rebecca does a great job with that, and so new members definitely welcome to join that particular meeting. And it's free and it's open to everybody. You don't even have to be a member. It's kind of a fun thing to learn about the MAS. All right, other upcoming MAS events. So I talked about the new member orientation again Saturday, BSIG Saturday, October 11th. There will be a public star party at ELO on October 11th from 7 to 10. Then also on the 11th, there's a Cedar Creek Public Star Party. So really encourage you go to Cedar Creek as well. So people who for or people who are on the north side of town, it's a little more convenient maybe than ELO or some of the other outreach locations. So we've got a great new facility there, and we got a new telescope that we set up a couple weeks ago. It's working really, really good there. All right. At Cherry Grove, we have a member star party Friday, October 17th, and that's also the Mini Messier Marathon. So for those unaware, the Messier Marathon is where you can theoretically see almost all of the Messier objects. It's not as good as the one in the spring. However, you could still see quite a lot of objects if it's a clear sky and all of that. So that's a good challenge for observers. All right. LLCC will have a member observing weekend, October 17th and 18th. And then there's another ELO Public Star Party, Saturday, October 25th from 7 to 10. And then also there's another LLCC member observing weekend, October 24th and 25th. Then lastly, I want to make sure everybody aware, I almost forgot about this today and looked at my calendar and realized this. So next month, the monthly meeting will be only online. We're not able to get this room because the school district has a big teacher convention or something or some training going on. So we're not able to get this room. So next month's monthly meeting will be online only on Zoom. Yes. Oh, so on 7th of October, oh, 7th of November, a tour of Goodsill Observatory. Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so I'll look for that on the forum. We'll try to Suresh will set that up and sign up for that. I think I want to go to that because I haven't seen that observatory. You know, I like old equipment. So Good cell down in Carlton. Yep, Carlton. All right. So key holders. So there's still a couple opportunities for key holder training this year. So at ELO, Saturday, October 11th, you can sign up on the website in the facility, in ELO facility section. For JJ Casby, Sunday, October 5th, and that's a sign up on the forum for the JJC in the Bellwyn area. And then Cherry Grove, there's training Friday, October 17th, and that's also on the forum sign up. And then LLCC, we don't have any more formal training scheduled this year. However, if there are eligible key holders up at one of the events, we'll be happy to do a one-on-one training with anybody who wants it. All right. So any questions on training or any events coming up? Very good. All right, shout out. We had some couple good events over the last month. We'll start out at LLCC. We had the Starapalooza event. It was an event also associated with the Bell Museum statewide star party. And we had a number of members here. It shows Mark giving a talk up there, and they actually had some clear sky and were able to see a couple things up there. So that was an excellent good. Had a pretty good turnout too. And then a shout out to everybody who spoke and organized and made the Fall Astronomy Day at ELO successful. So thank you to all the volunteers for all those great events and all the other outreach stuff that we do year round. All right. As an appreciation, so the board would like to welcome all the MAS volunteers, and we want to host basically a picnic at ELO on November 1st, 2025. That's a Saturday. And so we're going to do a barbecue, and we'll put more details online and post it in happenings and that. So everybody who's active and does everything for MAS and makes MAS the greatest club in the country. We want to say thank you in the universe, and we want to say thank you. And the board will have a barbecue and host a picnic for that. Just have some fun, just real casual. So save that date, November 1st, 2025. All right, Astronomical League Awards. Jerry Jones. Grab the microphone from Noah. Do you have the microphone? Oh.
Good evening, everyone. So, I have a complaint. Might be. So, a few months ago, there was a meeting that was entitled Imagers Strike Back. And now I have to complain because the projects, awards, certifications that I'm giving tonight are all to imagers. So, and I do recall sometime a year ago or something like that, I tossed a gauntlet on the ground to the imagers. And I said, come on, you guys, we haven't. And now I have to pull out of my pocket another gauntlet and toss it down to the visual. Come on, visual guys, where are you? What the heck? No, this is a great problem to have. I'm actually thrilled. I'm not complaining, honestly. So I have 3 awards to give tonight, all of them to imagers, which is fantastic. Tom Holman has 2. Applause, applause, applause. Come on up, Tom. He's getting the certification for the Active Galactic Nuclei Observing Program and the Foundations of Imaging. And feel free to tell us about one of these. Which was the hardest?
The Foundations of Imaging was hardest. Took me about a year and 3 months. So you have to take a ton of stuff in the solar system and then 25 deep space objects. But you got to catch an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, and a solar eclipse. You got to catch occultations of things around the moon. You have to track the path of asteroids. You have to find Pluto and show where it is in space. And you have to show how Ceres moves around the solar system, things like that. So it's fun.
And you did this with what equipment?
I have a CSAR S50. So these are my 7th and 8th awards. And so I'm up over 500 images to get these awards. So.
And you are gunning for what?
I'm gunning
after what?
Well, there's a Master Imaging Award, but I
Yeah.
don't know that I can get there from here. So there's one hard one that I haven't figured out how to do yet.
Which, congratulations. That's
Oh,
really
thanks.
fantastic. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Does this one have a pen?
It does. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you got to add it to that lanyard. And the third one is the open cluster imaging to Doug Neverman. Congratulations, Doug. Would you be so kind as to tell us a little bit about this and the challenges you have?
No. Oh, how many people here have done the open cluster program? You weren't going to say anything, but for those that have done, she's part way. For those, it takes 125 objects, and that's all of them that are in the list. So you have to take pictures or observe throughout the year. And some of them are kind of tough because they're down like an altitude of 5 degrees. So I took pictures. I started a year ago up at LLCC at the NNSF, but I took some at Eagle Lake, but there's too many trees to the south for me to get them. So I had to go down to CGO and pick up some of them. The real trick is to not miss any, right? Especially those that are like 5 degrees off the altitude. You know, you gotta plan it. I did find software for a program called Nina that helped me out with that made sure that I had them all. But for those of you, and I got two stories I want to say. I started last year at NNSF, and Jerry was there, so I processed one of the pictures, and I took it to him, and I says, I think this is the open cluster right there. He said, I think the open cluster is down here. So I went in, figured it out, and yes, Jerry was right. It was down there. So, but the other one was I was looking at him when I was down visiting my daughter down in Muncie, Indiana, and my granddaughter asked what I was doing. I says, oh, I'm looking for open clusters, and I think this is it right there. And she looked at it and says, I think it's down here. And you can guess who was right. Now, my granddaughter at the time was in kindergarten, so so anyway, so you've had validation that yes, you know what you're doing. I think that's it. It was interesting. It was fun. Trying to find them, and this is the reason it is difficult. And Claire can talk to this, and I'm sure Jerry can too, if he can remember back that far. That finding them is really, really difficult. And I was looking at pictures, and they don't move. The observers got to find it, and then draw a picture of it, maybe some of them, but they got to find it, and it's kind of difficult. I have a question. Claire says all of them. So the statement is that the Milky Way is just one big open cluster. So, but it was fun, and the nice thing about doing these programs, and I've done several, active galactic nuclei I've done, and the globular cluster, is to go and find out the history and description and all of the stuff, all of that information about it. So that's the fun part too.
Well done. And I have to say that that the national coordinator specifically commented on the quality of your data and your images. So well done on that. Well done on that. Yep. You go right here. And one thing that I have learned just recently, and this is for observers and imagers, that anytime an AL project allows both imaging and visual, that they also allow a mixed presentation. So you can do some of both. And there they go. There are a bunch of people over there just kind of freaking out. Yeah. So, but you have to check to make sure that it allows both imaging and visual. And if it does, you can do a mixed, which is fantastic. All right. Who's up next? There you go. Thank you, sir. Oh, yes. And of course,
get out there and observe.
Get out there and observe.
Or image. So in addition to what Jerry was saying, I left on here what I presented last month. So there's 3 AL special observing challenges that are listed on their website. So number 10 is still T Corona Borealis. We're still waiting on that one to pop. And then the International Observe the Moon Night Observing Challenge 2025. Deadline for submission of that is November 11th. And then Huygens Toes Observing Challenge 2025. So a couple other options, but let's see if
Observe. Or
doesn't work. Virtual Jerry doesn't work. Sorry. I guess the real Jerry trumped the virtual Jerry. I believe the Huygens Toes was observing the Titan transits and documenting them. Yep. Yep. Well, Suresh has pictures. You know, you guys have pictures. Ah, okay. All right. Good to know. All right. A lot of what this club is all about is volunteering. So there's a couple new volunteer opportunities. So committee openings. So there is a new committee opening on the LLCC committee. After many years, Bill Kochen has decided to step down from the LLCC committee. He's still going to be around, but he wants to pass the torch to some new blood. So if we want some new anybody wants to join the LLCC committee, we're really looking for people to help maintain the big dobs up there. That's, we've got a lot of work up there to do, a lot of coordination of weekly star parties, and of course, the arranging and execution of Northern Night Star Fest. And right, I'm targeting him, so, yep. But anyway, if there's anybody else possibly interested in helping out LLCC, as you know, LLCCs are a premier dark sky site. So also, we have an opening on the outreach committee. Jesse would love some help on the outreach committee to help coordinate the outreach efforts that we do. So that's another opening that we have right now. Other ways we can volunteer. Member presentations, always looking for member presentations. So Suresh is going to do one this evening. We've got one next month coming up from Conrad, so that's going to be real fun. And we always can get articles for Gemini. Father Brown is always looking for articles. Events that you host, outreach events, summarize Astronomy Day, summarize Camping with the Stars, Northern Night Star Fest, all that stuff. Could we get write articles? The web team, we need constant help. As you know, a couple months ago, we were really hit by bots on the website, and we were trying to find ways to prevent and keep the website up without any downtime. So there's always opportunities for that kind of stuff, IT kind of stuff. Join any one of the committees. Help out on a public star party at ELO, public star parties at Cedar Creek, always looking for help. And BSIGs, always looking for members who have knowledge on running telescopes and teaching new people. And then, of course, outreach. So any questions about volunteering on any of the committees or any of these activities, just send an email to info@mnastro.org and we will respond. All right, we need your presentations. So we're lucky we have a great presentation coming up by Suresh shortly, but if you've got something that you've done, some observing campaigns, some new bling that you've just earned, and you want to talk about your observing project, astronomical object that really interests you, history topics, ATM projects, restoration projects, outreach, all that kind of stuff. So, and it can be a 10-slide presentation. You can concentrate on a constellation, or you can do whatever you want, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, and just send an email to Ahmed at programs@mnastro.org, and we will schedule into one of the monthly meetings. Great. All right, so talking about member presentations, Suresh, come on up here. No, that's me. All right, it's all you, Suresh.
Can everybody hear me? I have a fighting a little cold, so if you guys can't, if I get a little congestion, just let me know and I'll speak louder or faster, one of the two. So a little bit about comets. I love comets. People that know me know I love comets. My first comet was Halley's Comet. Who saw Halley's Comet? Good number of you, and hopefully some of you online. So I've seen over 100 comets. One of the cool things about the comets is that they move. So if you miss it tonight, there's a chance you may not ever see that comet. It's very possible, unlike a deep sky object or even a planet, which you can always find later. I have a friend that has seen over 200 comets. There are people that only look at comets. So with that said, there's a couple of comets coming up this fall, 3 in fact, that I thought I'd highlight for everybody. Let's see how to work this thing. There we go. I'll start off with Comet 2025 A6 Lemon. It was discovered in January at the Mount Lemmon Observatory near Tucson. It's considered a long period comet with an orbit over 1,000 years, roughly 1,350 years. And the calculated furthest point is more than 22 billion miles from the sun. So this on its way in, the comet passed about 216 million miles from Jupiter last April. And that's expected, with Jupiter's strong gravity, that's expected to shorten its orbit by about 200 years, about 1,155 years. So if you miss it this time, you got a chance again in 1,155 years. So perihelion for this comet is on November 8th. And at that time, it'll be about 49 million miles from the sun, about half an AU. And for me, that's like prime for a comet, a perihelion in that zone. It doesn't get so close to the sun that it's going to likely burn up. And it's not going to be so far away that it's not going to get very bright. So it's kind of in this nice sweet spot. The perigee, which is its closest point to the Earth, is coming up on October 20th. So in less than 3 weeks now. At that time, it'll be about 55 million miles away from us, about 0.6 AUs. And the nice thing about this comet, and that's what this chart on the right is showing, it's a light curve of observations, visual observations, submitted by amateurs and professionals to what's called the COBS database, the Comet Observation Database, which you can find at cobs.si. That's the website. This comet has been exceeding its brightness prediction since July. So it's been brightening rapidly. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. Sometimes new comets or comets that haven't been in for a long time, they have a lot of ice on their surface and a lot of materials that haven't been blown off by the sun in the past. So sometimes that'll cause it. Sometimes just the composition of the comet, it'll get brighter. We saw this at Long Lake last weekend. It was my first couple of observations of it. It's roughly 6.8 magnitude right now. So right on the fringe of naked eye visibility. I couldn't see it. Has anybody here seen it yet? Chris has seen it. Anybody else? Okay. The tail is actually very visible. We saw it in Clayton's telescope, his 20-inch, and the tail's about 1.5 degrees visually. And on images, it's going over 2.5 degrees right now. It has been traveling northwards. So we've been waiting for it to get away from the sun in the morning sky. And it's now, it's up and easy to observe by, say, 3:30 or 4 a.m. It's moving, like I said, it's moving northwards, and it's going to become circumpolar next week on the 10th, meaning that it'll be up all night long. And at that same time, it's going to pass from Leo Minor into Ursa Major, the Big Bear. And after that, it'll zoom southwards. It's going to be switching from the morning to the evening sky, so you'll be able to catch it after dark. So here's a recent picture of it taken by Rolando Lagustri on the 29th. He shot this from Utah. He didn't provide the telescope or the camera, but that was a pretty nice picture. This tail is at least 2 degrees long. And like I said, we can see that visually through telescopes. How to follow this comet? Like I said, it's presently in Leo Minor, and it's roughly about 19 degrees south of Merak, which is the bottom star in the Big Dipper, which is, trying to find it here. Here. Can you guys see my cursor? Yeah, you can. So that's, I believe that's Merak. So the comet is roughly right around here right now. And it's entering Leo Minor. It was in Lynx last week. And after that, it's going to enter Ursa Major, and then it's going to go into Canis Venatici. It should be around 6 magnitude within a couple of days. And like I said, it's going to pass through Ursa Major or Southern Ursa Major. And on the 3rd, I'm sorry, let's see, on the 6th, it's going to pass very close to the star right here, which is called Tania Australia, which is Lambda Ursa Major, which is a naked eye star, so it makes it easier to find. On October 12th, it moves into the evening sky. It should be visible low in the northwest after sunset. And then the exciting part starts happening in mid-October. You see how the tick marks are getting further apart. That's because the comet's getting closer and closer to the Earth. And as it does, it looks like it's speeding up across the sky from our vantage point. So once we get to October, it'll be moving, mid-October, it should be moving about 4 degrees per day, which comes out to, if I did my math right, 1 degree every 6 hours. So that's two moons every 6 hours in the sky. It's the fastest thing's gonna be moving. So a couple of highlights here. On the 16th, it's gonna pass 1 degree northwest of Cor Caroli, which is a beautiful double star in Canis Venatici right here, where my cursor is. That should make it easy to find, or easier to find. On the 22nd, it'll pass northwest of Turris, which will be very low in the northwestern sky at that time. And that same night, the 22nd, it's gonna be about 2 degrees from the second magnitude star Izar, which is fairly bright and easy to pick up. The comet's expected to peak around 4th magnitude in late October as it zooms through Bootes, Serpens, and then into Ophiuchus. And I suspect we're going to lose it in mid-November as it's moving south, as it moves into southern Ophiuchus and into Scorpio. So this is an animation. Hopefully I do this right, Valtz. This is an animation from theskylive.com, which is a really cool website which you guys should bookmark. This shows the path of the comets, if I get this right. Yeah, let's go with that. So what you can do with this is you can run, it's going to move at, I believe, 1 week per second, I think is what it does. And what I'm trying to show here, it's not quite coming out the way I want it, but let me start over again. Put the Earth right here. The comet is north of the plane of the solar system right now, but watch what it does over the next few weeks. So here's the Earth down here. You're going to see, oops, let me do that. There. It's zooming south. Can you guys pick that up? So I just wanted to give you a visualize. Let me do that one more time without messing it up. So this, I don't know why this thing is in the way. It usually isn't. There you go. Well, let's try that. Okay. Now we don't have dates, but that's okay. So here comes the comet. What's projected on screen is different than what I see here. It normally isn't. I don't know why it's in the middle now. But anyway, you guys get the idea, right? The comet's gonna be, is in the northern sky for us right now in the morning. It's gonna get into the evening sky. And as it does, it's gonna zoom south. So we get a nice view of it starting around mid-October after dark. And we can follow it for about a month. So that's the first comet. Comet 2025 R2 Swan came out of nowhere. This one was discovered just last month on September 12th by a Ukrainian amateur named Vladimir Bezulgi. I hope I say that right. Bezulgi. From images taken by the Swan instrument, which is on NASA's SOHO satellite, which is out in space. The satellite constantly monitors the sun. And the Swan instrument is a wide angle instrument that's on board. And these images are free to download or access by anybody. And so some people actually watch these images looking for comets. And the one that this guy found, he said, was the brightest one they had ever seen discovered on a SOHO image. The comet's discovery was delayed because it was caught in the sun's glare from the first week of August until the second week of September here. And that's defined as it being within 30 degrees of the sun. So if it's within 30 degrees of the sun, it's assumed that it's not going to be very visible. At discovery, it was located in Virgo, very near Spica, and was estimated to be around magnitude 7.4 with a 2-degree tail. Early images of this were kind of interesting because it passed very close to Spica, and it got to the point where Spica was kind of in the way of seeing the comet's detail. It's presently around magnitude 5.8. So theoretically, it is visible to the unaided eye, but I haven't heard anybody that's actually seen it. It has a strong greenish tint, which is related to dicarbon, which is basically what's happening is a chemical reaction from the sun blasting it with its radiation and causing this dicarbon reaction, which glows green, essentially. And it has a 2.5-degree ion tail. It passes closest to the sun, or passed closest to the sun on September 13th at about almost 70 million miles away from the sun. The comet will cross the Earth's orbit on October 5th and may produce a meteor shower. Now, what's interesting about this is the meteor shower would not have come from the current comet pieces. It would have come from past pieces from the same comet. So think of it like in the wintertime with the truck, you're behind the truck, it's got all that snow coming off of it. Well, just think of the comet as that truck, and as it's going around in its orbit, it's letting off all those particles. So it's possible that we may end up in that stream around October 5th, and it'd be replenished because the comet's back, dropping more stuff. That's the idea. Perigee, or the closest approach to Earth, will be on October 19th at 24 million miles, which is very close. It's probably in the top 20% of comet passes closest to Earth in recorded history. So that's really exciting. And again, it's going to peak somewhere in the upper fives is what they're thinking for brightness. Now, this comet, they're still working on the orbit, but they think that its furthest distance might be as far from the sun as 837 billion miles. So a light year is 6 trillion miles, so almost the sixth of a light year at its furthest point. And the orbit they think is about 22,000 years. I've seen that revised recently. So it's a very long period comet, obviously. And again, on the right here, here's the light path observations, light curve, I should say. And you can see when it was discovered on the 12th, it was right around 7.3 or so, 7.4. And then it's been jumping. And I think part of that is it's getting away from the sun and people have a better look at it, but it's already cleared 6 magnitude. So that's very, very good news for us. Unfortunately, the comet has been largely visible only to the Southern Hemisphere viewers, which us Northern Hemisphere people get very angry about. But it has been moving northward, and it's expected to become visible for us in mid-October, so about a week or so. So how to find this comet? During early October, the comet should become visible low in the southwest after sunset. And as mentioned, it could be visible to the unaided eye under good conditions. Tonight is that it is northeast of the magnitude 2.8 star Zubinel Ganubi, which is Alpha Libra. Ahmed, did I pronounce Zubinel Ganubi right? Where's Ahmed? Janubi? Zubinel Janubi. Gotcha. Sorry, I butchered that. Let's see. Let's replace. On October 6th, it passes 1.6 degrees south of, I think that's Gamma Libra, which is a 3.9 magnitude star, which makes it also visible to the naked eye. And on that night, I think this is probably our first good shot at it, because it'll be 41 degrees from the sun, and it sets almost 2 hours, actually about 2 hours after sunset. So I think we have enough time there. On October 11th, it passes 6 degrees south of Zeta Ophiuchi, which is easily visible. It's magnitude 2.6. So that's another good opportunity. October 13th, it passes 1.2 degrees south of Sabik, which is Eta Ophiuchi. It is then 56 degrees away from the sun and doesn't set till 9:46. So look how far it's moved in just a week. Now, the cool thing about this is over the next week after that, it passes in front of the Milky Way central bulge. And so there's a lot of opportunities to photograph it in front of star clusters, nebulae, to view it through your telescope, with a lot of stars and pretty objects in the background. The best of the bunch, I think, is Friday, October 17th. On that night, the comet's going to pass between the Eagle and the Omega nebulas. So between M16, I'm sorry, I should have been M16, M16 and M17, as I try to show in this Sky Safari picture. So here's the Eagle Nebula, here's the Swan or Omega Nebula, and here's the comet's path. It's going to be moving kind of in the direction of its tail. And remember, it's going to be moving like pretty quickly at that time. So just in a few hours, it's going to zoom past these two. So we have a good chance around 9 o'clock that night to get a good view. The picture I put here is from Luc Perot. I couldn't resist this photo. There's better ones out there on the internet of this comet, but this one's got 2 comets. Because last week, on the 20th, it passed very close to the much further and smaller comet, 21K1 Atlas, which a lot of comet people are also observing. So it's pretty rare that we get 2 visible comets in one field. So that's why I chose that one. After it passes through the central bulge of Sagittarius, it's going to continue moving eastward through Capricorn and Aquarius in the second half of October. So again, here's the path real quick. So we are here on the second right here. That's the star Zubinel Ganubi, if you can see my cursor there. Zubinel Janubi, sorry, Ahmed. And then you see it's going to be moving eastward. And it passes, I think there's a Z, I believe. And then you see as it does that, it passes right through the central bulge of the galaxy. So a lot of opportunities for some great wide field shots here. So anybody with a camera can pick this up. So so right in here is where it passes by both Eagle and Swan nebulas. And then it just keeps going through Sagittarius, into Capricorn, into Aquarius, and it just keeps going. So I'm going to try this again. All right. Let's see. So Vaults, is this thing coming up? I don't think it is. I don't think that link was working. Oh, is that, maybe that's this.
That one.
Okay. There's two of them. Thank you. So on this one, I'll try to do it right this time. Hopefully that when I click on this, it'll be in the right spot. Nope, it's still in the middle. Darn it. Yeah, but you can see how this comet, the path here with the Earth, that thing's in the way. Can't really do anything about it. Let me stop this and go back to September real quick. So here's in September. Oh, I'm on the other one. You're right. Good call. There's a couple of them here. Any idea, Vaults? What was this? I'm just opening this again. Is it in here? There it is. Thank you. All right. Screw it up. Click on that. There you go. Thank you. All right. Let's try this again. It's a lot cooler at home when you can play around with this thing. Let's see. Trying to get this. Yeah, see, the main thing here I wanted to show is look how close it's going to pass to the Earth, right? So let me go back a month. I'll just keep it here. So here's the Earth right here. Just follow how close that's going to get as we get into the first week of October, right? We just passed it right in here. Look how close that is. That's only going to be 24 million miles. So we get a really close view of this. So that's why the comet's moving so fast across our sky. Third comet. Get rid of this. So Comet 3I Atlas, also known as 2025 N1. Who's heard of this one? This one's been in the news since July when it was discovered. That's the alien one. Yes, that's the alien one. So the cool thing about this one is at discovery on July 1st, it was still at the orbit of Jupiter, 420 million miles away. That was just what, 4 months ago? Am I doing my math right? 3 months ago. 3 months ago. And what astronomers picked up on very quickly with this is, as they were trying to calculate the orbit, most comets follow a parabolic orbit, but this one was moving way too fast for that. Typically, when comets get near the sun, they're moving 20,000 miles an hour or so. This one was moving 140,000 miles an hour. So it's a pretty quick comet, moving at 36 miles a second at the distance of Jupiter. Think about that. It's not the sun pulling it that speed. So they got very excited very quickly. The other thing too, and I'll show you this on that animation in a minute, but of all the different paths the comet could have taken, it is in almost exactly the orbital path of our solar system. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. As some people may know, comets can be either above or below the plane of our planets, or ecliptic. This one is pretty much right in line. What are the odds? So astronomers deem this to be the third interstellar comet discovered after Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 19. There's been all these estimates on the size of the nucleus. I've seen it as small as 2 miles across and as big as 13. Most people think it's around 7 miles across, so it's a pretty good sized comet. It reaches perihelion on October 29th, but it doesn't get close to the sun, close enough for my taste anyway, 126 million miles from the sun. At the closest approach to the Earth, perigee, on December 19th, it'll only be 167 million miles away. So it's never going to get close to the Earth, which is unfortunate. So one of the cool things is though on October 3rd, as I'll show in that animation, it passes just 18 million miles from Mars. So tomorrow. So NASA, India, the UAE, I think that might be the list. They have a bunch of orbiters orbiting Mars right now. They're going to try to turn those around and take pictures of the comet as it goes by, even at that fast speed. Also on March 16th next year, on its way out, it's going to pass 33 million miles from Jupiter, which might adjust its path slightly because it's moving so fast. It won't be fully affected, but it's a very close passage to Jupiter. Observations with the James Webb Space Telescope suggest the comet is very rich in carbon dioxide. It also contains some water, ice, and vapor, as well as some carbon monoxide and carbonyl sulfide. The Very Large Telescope in Chile confirmed it's emitting cyanide gas, as well as atomic nickel vapor. Now, one of the interesting things about this comet is it caught up to us. The sun is moving northwards. If you think of it from the perspective of our Milky Way, the sun is moving northwards. This comet caught us from the south. So it actually caught up to us, which stunned astronomers because they typically expected interstellar comets to come more or less from the north, or at least something thereof. But this one came from behind us and caught us. And the other thing that's interesting is they believe this comet is more than 7 billion years old. Estimates are between 7.6 to 14 billion. And remember, our solar system is only 4.6 billion years old. So this is older than our solar system. And the way they determined that was they kind of took, I don't want to say a guess, they hypothesized where this comet came from. And the belief is that it came from what they call the thick disk part of our galaxy. And many stars, most stars in that area of the galaxy are between 7 and 14 billion years old. That's where they get it from. It's impossible for them to determine which star it came from. They've been doing some orbital calculations, and it looks like in the last 10 million years, it's passed within 1 parsec, or 3.3 light years, of 25 known stars. So because of that, there's no way it's been playing orbital pinball with all these stars for eons. How to observe this comet? Here's the light curve again. The comet is around magnitude 12.5 right now. So you can see it visually through probably a medium-sized telescope, I would say. And it's supposed to brighten to around 11.5, bringing it into easier range of most amateur telescopes. Unfortunately, over the next few weeks, it's going to pass behind the sun from our perspective, so we're not going to be able to see it. However, it should become visible in the pre-dawn sky around mid-November as it motions towards the northwest in our sky. On November 14th, it rises at 3:45 in the morning, and it'll be 38 degrees west of the sun. I suspect that's about the date that we're going to end up picking it up here locally. On October 19th, it'll pass 1.5 degrees west of Porrima, which is a magnitude 3.5 star in Virgo. On that night, it rises at 3:07 a.m. and it'll be 47 degrees away from the sun. So you see in just 5 days, it rises, what is that, 38 minutes or so earlier. And then finally, on November 25th, it passes just a 0.5 degree from Eta Virginis, which is a magnitude 3.5 star. In late November and into early December, the comet will continue to drift through Virgo, eventually entering into Leo in mid-December. So again, it was discovered on September 13th, very close to Spica. You see how it passed very close to Spica around that time. And I'm sorry, not Spica, Zubin Ganubi, Zubin Ganubi. And then it's been moving towards Spica ever since, and it'll get closest to Spica in the 3rd week of October, around the 24th. And this is where it passes Porrima in mid-November, around the 14th. And that's the path it goes into Leo in December. All right, the last animation. All right. Now this one's important because I want to show you a couple things. Back it up a month. Stop you. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now now notice the plane of the solar system, right? This comet is almost in the same plane as our planets. Now watch what happens tomorrow on the 3rd, right here. Oh, just went a little bit too far. Look how close it is to Mars. See that? And then I'll just let it play. And watch what happens as it leaves. So here's the Earth over here. So here, right about here's where we regain it. It's getting away from the sun. Check this out. Look where it's headed. And then we get to March. It's coming up. Here's January. Here's mid-February, and right about here. I think right in here is the closest path to Jupiter on its way out. So again, it's traveling far faster than a typical comet that we see. What was that? Yeah, it's going the opposite direction of our sun through as it passes, as it goes through our galaxy. So just a couple of apps and websites that I use. Sky Safari is my favorite one to observe comets with. Stellarium is also very popular. If you guys want to take a picture or so of the slide, but some comet sites that I use are Skyhound, which is really, really good. Soichi Yoshida is very famous amongst comet people. He's in Japan and has been doing this for at least 20 years. And then the other ones here are Sky and Telescope. Astro Van Buiten, which is a Dutch site, which is really good. The Sky Live is where I got the animations from, and which is really good. And then Earth Sky is a great resource just for general astronomy. And if you're on Facebook, we've got obviously Bob King with his Astro Bob King blog on Facebook. And there's a page called Comet Watch, which I pretty much see every day just to get the latest pictures and information. So with that, any questions? Yeah.
Yeah. What a great following and the alien object.
Because it came from outside our solar system. The question is, why are people following 3i Atlas so closely? It's because some people believe it to be of alien origin. I personally don't. I just think it happens to have come from outside our solar system. And it hasn't maneuvered or anything like that you'd expect an alien craft to do or anything like that yet. Yeah.
Didn't it have a tail or an outburst that was almost kind of in the wrong direction? Wasn't that
They've had an outburst.
suspicious?
I have seen that it had an outburst, but I have not seen that it went in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question? Connor? Yeah, Oumuamua in 2017. Yeah, and Borisov. He's asking about the previous ones. Yeah, there was Oumuamua in 2017 and Borisov in 2019. Anybody else? Any questions online? No?
All right, thank you very much, Suresh. All right, Loner Scope. Antone.
Yes, our loaner scope program is still going for the year. We've had 65 loans up to this point. We have actually, I've only got like 5 telescopes out right now. So if anyone's looking for a telescope, I've got plenty available. All of the Schmidt-Cassegrain, no, I have one 8-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain that just came back in. And I have another one that's due back, but we have the Dobbs, we have the Schmidt-Cassegrains, we have refractors, 2 large binocular, and the solar scope. That's all available. So you can go online to our website and under loaner scopes and make your requests there. And then I'll arrange a meeting with you at my home in Vadnais Heights, and we can have you pick up the telescope. And we also have our DVDs of all things astrophysics. So history, science, anything you'd like to know. That complete list is on the website as well, and you can request those through the Loaner Scope program as well.
Thank you, Anton. All right, just last couple of follow-up things. Weekly happenings email newsletter. Our secretary Claire sends out every Tuesday email blast and basically all the new news. So if you have anything to post to the happenings, please send a request to secretary@mnastro.org by the end of the week for the following Tuesday, and she'll compose the email and put it in there. And so if you got anything contribute, new event coming up or something like that, then that's the place to do it. Online communities, as everyone knows, we are on Slack. We have an active user forum, and we are on YouTube as well. So this meeting, this presentation from tonight, and all of our presentations, as well as our BSIG presentations over the winter get posted onto our YouTube channel. So just on YouTube, just search for Minnesota Astronomical Society, and you'll be able to find all of our YouTube content. And of course, we are on Instagram and Facebook as well. You feel free to share your images or any of your stories or anything like that to social media at MN Astro, and we will post it on our social media pages. Please watermark your images, take credit for your work. Thanks. All right. Yes, sir, Richard. Okay, great. Richard's putting out free stuff in the back. So there's magazines and books and some other swag. So anyone in house, please feel free to take it home. Thanks, Richard. Official MAS stuff. We are still selling merchandise through Cafe Press at this point. We don't have a alternative store defined at this point. So we're just continuing on with the Cafe Press until we're ready. So t-shirts, cups, hats, all that stuff available at you can get there through our website. Gemini articles, like I mentioned before, please keep Father Brown busy putting together as many articles as he can, and he's got a lot of stuff coming up in the next few issues, but he's always looking for new articles. Gemini is primarily member content. So it's a very unique publication from astronomy clubs in North America. All right, now I would like to introduce our featured speaker, Peter Birren. Let me give you a little intro for Peter. So Peter Birren is retired from his graphic and marketing design business of 45 years. He moved a few years ago from under the monster light dome of Chicago to the Bortle four skies of Kentucky. He's a self-taught cosmic voyeur, assembling and creating his book, Objects of the Heavens. Copy of it, which is right here. If you want it, somebody wants to see it, this is Trina's copy, so give it back to Trina before she leaves.
Hi, I'm in.
His book, Objects in the Heavens, became
Yeah, I'm on cameras.
after
and I'm
years of
almost set.
hang gliding and camping out in the country. The night sky became a real draw, so the curiosity grew and developed into the book. So,
Very good.
Peter, we are going to turn the presentation.
Oh, turn it over to me now. Bye.
All right. So grab it over to grab control of the presentation, Peter, and you should be able to take control.
Hello. Okay. I hear my voice. I see my pictures. I see a very, very early book. That's version, I think, 3.5. That was a long, long time ago. Let's see, how do I get my video up? I don't have to do that. I'll share my story. First of all, I want to say wonderful presentation on the comets. And it just, always learn so much. And it's one thing I miss being down here and out in the sticks of Kentucky. We've got nice skies and beautiful views, but very few people to share my hobby with. And which brings me to your website, which is, and the club itself. Just you guys are doing an amazing job, and I'm really very impressed. And I was a member of Chicago Astronomical Society for many years, Northwest Suburban Astronomers. I met with Naperville Astronomical Association. And so, I've been around with a lot of different people for quite a long time. But I'm always amazed to see the activity that goes on, especially with your observatories. That's amazing. Let me share my, somebody else is sharing. There we go. Request has been sent to share my, there we go. All right. Share that.
Just one moment.
And let's see if I can't play. How's that? There we go. All right. Objects in the Heavens. It's what I found, and it was my classroom to the sky, to learning astronomy the hard way. Here you can see the difference. The newest book was out, version 7. And as mentioned, I am a a cosmic voyeur. I do only visual observing. Love the feeling of the ancient photons hitting my eyes. Just a wonderful thing. So here's where I started. And I started when I was 9 years old. My dad pointed out Mars is a close past in 1956. I'm aging myself there. But I went through a number of iterations, just observational opportunities. Got to see the southern skies, courtesy of Uncle Sam, and the Magellanic Clouds and constellations that weren't familiar to me. But that didn't trigger it. Nothing did until a friend of mine asked, "Hey, are you interested in astronomy?" I said, "Why, sure." So one evening I was laying out on a picnic bench in a very nice site and looking up with my binoculars, and I realized I had no idea what I was looking at. And I needed to break through. I knew so little. It was amazing. So, what is all this stuff up here? So I started the project out of curiosity. I began looking at all the magazines and everything that was available, and just found so many incomplete resources. I had a desire to learn, and my designer's sense of order put it all together. So I figured by the time I got to version 2, I was probably at about 4,000 hours of time involvement in research and putting everything together, because I wanted to find out what it is and where it is. And, looking at maps, just getting lost. This is Norton's, what do we have here? Cygnus and Lyra. And I was looking for for what to look at, and there's a lot of stars, and you look up and see a lot of stars, and get over to the north side of Cepheus, and just a marvelous random view out the window of the Enterprise, as one of my friends would be enamored at saying. But I was looking for the objects. What are all these things, the clusters and the nebula and everything? I found Taki's Mag 7 project, which is nice, but it still didn't really, there was more stars here than there are objects. So, I picked up Uranometria, but, I put it down rather quick, because weeding through Mag 15 was pretty much impossible because at about this time, I was given a scope from a friend of mine's garage. We had just collected dust. It was a 6-inch Edmund Scientific Super Sky Ranger from '74, and that 6-incher is not going to hit Mag 15, no chance. So after working on the book for some time, I've redone the maps about 4 times each, working on them. But you can see how I focus here on the objects. We'll get more into that in a little bit. But so my initial parameters to the book, as to my learning, I wanted to set it a magnitude 10 as a limiting factor, and northern hemisphere viewing, which is where I'm located. So, and most of the people in the world are located. And let's see what it takes. So, but after going through Burnham's book and so many other books, and seeing all the plethora of abbreviations, I wanted to cut down on the abbreviations, but give more detail, make it useful information, simply formatted, and answer that question: what is it and where is it? And it pretty much became, because I collected notes from all over, which you'll see bits and pieces of here and there as I progress on. But it became pretty much an encyclopedia that I could use at the scope. And It takes, by the time we get to version 7 here, this has been about a 25-year progress. So I've collected these, all the elements over time and digging down deep, drilling down, one might say. And you can see that, constellations are arranged by major stars, double stars, carbon stars, Messier objects, NGCs, and objects from 37 other catalogs. Going through the book, starting out, I had to give a lot of thanks to a lot of people. Alan Dyer, George Reynolds, Jim Kaminsky, Hugh Bartlett, Jim Barnett, and Cloudy Nights, and Naoyuki Kurita provided all the photos that I have in here, which are in the list. And you can see on the left side over here, you can see the versions that I've gone through every about a year to 2 years. I'll update, and as more and more objects are added. The first version only had 550 objects in it, and I'm up over 761, I believe it is now, magnitude 10 or brighter. And in the introduction, it's why I did what I did, and how it got to me. It just kept pulling me in. But one of the things that that triggered me was a late columnist of the Sun-Times named Sidney J. Harris. And he had an occasional column that really triggered my imagination. It says, "Things I learned on the way to learning other things." An approach like this to satisfying one's curiosity about all things, keeping an open mind to learn from whatever comes along, provides a good starting point in astronomy as well as most any other endeavor. So in a quest, and this is not for me so much, but for my readers, in a quest to find these often elusive deep sky objects, questions will come up regarding the nature of an object. Write down those questions. And in the following days, let them guide your learning. Whether it's comets like that wonderful presentation there, or just answers about the size, speed, and distance involved with everything from our sun to the entire universe. And away it goes. Objects in the heavens, I tell you, can only show you what to see, but patience, practice, and sketching will help show you how to see. So here's how the books are arranged, how the listing is arranged, which you'll see a couple of pages from later. I give the details here where I list the type of object it is, whether it's binocular, telescope, a star, proper names, common names, double star separation, object magnitude, and what seasonal map will show the constellation. As I said, I wanted to keep symbols rather brief. So here are the symbols and abbreviations, very small. I think they're pretty logical. Open cluster to cluster with nebulosity. I think that you understand most of them. And I list 62 of the northern constellations are in the book out of the 88 that are available. There are 26 that are not in there. They're in the southern sky. And I did about 6 months worth of investigation in doing a southern sky book. And, if I were to make it with the same limitations as objects in the heavens is now, it'd probably be about 2.5 times the size, because the southern sky is just so loaded. But can't get there from here. I came up with, after attending many star parties and having a lot of interested parties come up to the scope and ask lots of questions. That also drove the content of the book as it developed and grew over time. And one of these is my star stories. These are little fanciful stories that I came up with to help draw constellations together in a common thing to help you remember what it is. For example, and we'll get into this one a little bit later, but the football game takes into account all of these. It's 6 constellations. The the goal line is Draco, and Ursa Major and Ursa Minor are on opposite teams and playing with Corona Borealis as the football. And so there's 6 constellations in there, and then 5 constellations make up Big Bird. But I'll get into that in a minute. So you can see that I play around with each season and trying to bring them together. Notes on the bigger picture. This is an overall view. Obviously, this in a small book, I can't have a full planisphere, but just to be able to introduce it and the dimensions and how to figure the sizes from a hand scale. Addresses in the sky, where is it? Declination, right ascension, and what are they? Right ascension threw me, and for many years actually, and it just got me frustrated because nobody brought it down to just the simple fact that because when you face north, the sky appears to ascend from the right, and so the right ascension, and I had quite a number of books I went through in the 60s and 70s, and it just they always got into so much detail, but it really threw me out. It just didn't, they never got it simple. So I try to make it simple, along with the explanation of equatorial and azimuth mounts. So in continuing on the encyclopedic attitude towards the book, we have a lot of different things that may be useful. Answers at a star party, answers to your questions. What are the best filters to use, for example? How do I figure field of view, and what's my practical highest and lowest power to use? What are the Dawes limits of my scope? What can I possibly see? Can't forget the solar system, but this is all I really do on that. And just all the mean details, the encyclopedic details of the planets and Jupiter's Galilean moons, distances and sizes. And I've done a couple of talks on size, speed, and distance. And boy, just pick one and blow your mind. And here's the moon, and we got to Earth here, and here's Earth, and it goes up to Jupiter, and here's Jupiter to Sirius, working its way down to Stephenson 2-18, where you can fit approximately 10 billion suns inside of that. Its orbit is out to Uranus. It's just incredible. This size, just incomprehensible. Stars, we get into stars and star types, their temperatures and colors, and approximately lifetime in millions of years. Double stars, based upon the Astronomical League 100, and then others of interest. And what Orion has a whole mess of them, as do quite a few others. Equus has a couple. Red and supergiants and carbon stars, they're wonderful to look at. Where are they? Deep sky object types. So trying to explain to myself and to others, what are these things, and how are they described? How are they best described? Then we get into the cross references. Here, the Messier index. What's a double object, or a binocular object, and telescopic objects. And then this, after reviewing a considerable number of Messier marathon orders, this is seems to be the general order. Your mileage may vary. I still have not completed a Messier marathon, and I'm of an age where I can't stay up all night long anymore. So we'll play it from there. But here's starts in and how to use the book. If you know an object number, NGC 7082, look it up. It's an open cluster in Cygnus. Turn to Cygnus, find it, and it'll be on the first page of Cygnus. And it'll be a binocular object. If you know by name, here's the common names. So the Blue Horsehead Nebula is IC 4592 in Scorpio. So you can look it up that way. If we go back, IC 4592, 4592, it's a binocular object. It's an emission nebula in Scorpio. So Blue Horsehead, yeah, it's and oh, I better correct that. It's funny the things you learn on the way to learning other things. I have meteor showers here, just a list. So these are the main ones. I've left off the very, very light ones where there's 1 or 2 per hour, and then meteor colors and their chemical elements. I can't dig down to find that one. The moon, can't forget the moon, Earth's nightlight. Well, after a couple of iterations, I got some inspiration and help from Alan Dyer. After putting the moon parts together, the encyclopedic info on that, Alan helped me with setting these up. And here's a sample spread showing the terminator on day 1 and on day 25, 26, somewhere around there. And the inset shows the waning moon, and this is the waxing moon. And then so I take the, if I go back here, no, I don't have it in here, but these numbers are based on Chuck Wood's, and I believe the Astronomical League as well, the 100. And then I have another dozen or so that are in addition to that, like the crater Plinius. So give you something to do when the moon's out. I've broken down, I relate a lot of the book to city objects and telescopic objects, city or binocular objects. And in my seasonal maps, summer, fall, winter, spring, set up like that, Princess, summer, fall, winter, spring, if you remember Howdy Doody. And I list the binocular objects or the city objects that are just the brighter ones and what page they're at. So it goes through, and then we get in the heart of the book here with the list on the left side and the map on the right side. Now Cygnus has 2 spreads because there is just so much in there. So I repeat the map on the second spread as well. But you can see I've got single and double stars, red and carbon stars, which have a little circle R symbol with them. Messier objects, and in bold, those are the ones that are Mag 7 or brighter. So here's a couple Mag 7 down here. And even though these are Mag 7.3 or 8.9, those are binocular objects, the binocular class. The Foxhead cluster and the blinking planetary, you know, you can get it from a nice dark sky with binoculars. I also have these little gray bars on the sides here, which indicate neighboring objects. So if you're up here looking at this star chain, NGC 6871, which is Mag 5.2, pretty good. There it is, 6871. It's in the map right there. Well, you've got these other ones here. Well, what are they? I can't get them all together, but star RY or Birren 2, 6883. Well, here's 6874 is also in there, 83 and 88. Crescent Nebula right in there. So that'll, as you're out viewing, get the, you can, don't limit yourself to just the one, but see if you can find the others as well. Towards the back of the book, here's Virgo, where I had to, and I've done this in a couple of places in the book, where there's an area with just too much in it, I've made a separate map for that. And here I've got its own legend. So for the brighter ones, and it's this it helps me in finding stuff in Markarian's chain in the realm of the galaxies, and just a wonderful area up in here. Then I kind of wrap up the book a little bit with sketching circles. I have several pages of these in the book, 14 circles in all, which really it comes, it's certainly a very, very helpful way of learning to see. And T.W. Webb relates it very nicely, what I put in bold here: trust nothing to memory. If you want to see something, or you see something unique, or if you just like what you see, draw it out, sketch it out. It'll remind you years from now to go back and say, oh, I remember when I saw that star chain or a little grouping, that looked like a dragon or something. But I was asked by a number of people to come up with a separate book with quite a few more setting circles. So so I made this book, the Goals List Logbook and Sketchbook, separate book, 64 pages of goals list, where you write them down, your priority, what the target name, constellation, magnitude, size, viewing hints and notes, so you can really develop your viewing schedule if you want to get out, and then detail what it is you saw through the viewfinder and what you actually saw. And these notes, I write down here on each page, will help remind you of your nights out, refresh your memory many years from that date. Start sketching with brighter stars or features to use as a framework. Using shapes, lines, curves, patterns, add details that you see. Smudge for nebulosity or shadows. Simple sketches to help you look for object details. And it's all about learning to see. Sketching, as William Herschel said, is a great aid to learning to see. Is M21, as Jeremy Perez put it up online. Reverend Webb, 1859, do not be discouraged by ignorance of drawing. Draw what you can. And here's M31 and M110, I believe that would be M32 right there. But here's what he saw in his scope. Herschel also said, seeing is, in some respects, an art, which must be learned. As the book, putting the book together was not my initial goal. It was to learn what's up there and where is it, and what is it about it that makes it so darn interesting. And so in my pursuit of that, the book took on a life of its own and became what it is today. So last little bit of admonition and advice from Herschel is take your time. And, whether you're using a C-scope, and let it take its time and go deep, or you take your time and sketch it out. That's what it does. So I mentioned that big bird. As a number of years ago, I think about 10 years ago, I saw this, 15 years ago or more, but I saw this first time in the late fall, and it's up there now. But I started out, followed the arc to Arcturus, and then I happened to see some bright stars over here, and it made the other wing of the bird. So there's Big Bird, and it draws together Corona Borealis, Hercules, all the way to Ophiuchus. And so that's one thing I found. There's Big Bird. And second thing I found just recently, 2 years ago, another way to see, to find Polaris. It just happens that the summer triangle with Polaris make the summer diamond. And so when Ursa Major gets real low in the north, or gets behind the trees, and you can't use that to find Polaris, and summer triangle is still up, it's an easy way to find. So I hope I made my my goals. I think I did. With magnitude 10, Northern Hemisphere detail objects, few details, a few abbreviations, but lots of detail. Useful information, simply formatted. What is it and where is it? And a couple people have a few nice things to say about it. Joe Lalumia said it's the best book to use with a go-to scope. Thank you, Joe. Alvin Huey, you know him from the Our Peculiar Galaxies. I always thought the Pocket Sky Atlas was a great book, but it is an atlas, not an observing guide. If I want to know what the heck NGC 1023 is, for example, I need to look it up in another reference. I solved that. Thanks, Alvin. Alan Dyer said, this handy pocket guide provides the reader with a lifetime list of great objects to observe. Every observer needs a good star atlas, but charts alone aren't of much value in helping you decide what of the thousands plotted are worth looking at. Objects in the Heavens provides that essential guide. And I'm so happy to get a review like this, and it qualifies my book and says hey, I did it. And I'm pretty happy with it. And it accompanies me every night with my scope. And one thing about it, I've made sure to have a coil binding, which keeps it out of bookstores in a lot of cases because I don't have a spine on the book. But coil binding allows the book to lay flat and makes it much easier to use. The pages themselves aren't dew covered, so they will get wet, but it will dry out. And it's available, and it's only available from my website. And with that said, I want to thank you very much for your kind attention and open the floor to any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Peter, and thank you for publishing such a wonderful resource for astronomers. So we will open it up to questions. Anybody have questions here? All right.
Peter, thank you for a great book. I've had one of yours for many, 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 many years. And my question to you is, and while you were talking, I checked Amazon and Thrift Books. My question to you is, why don't you sell it on those two sites and other sites?
Oh boy, Amazon is really a pill to deal with. They're so difficult because I have basically one title. The cost for an author to get on Amazon for just the one title doesn't make it financially feasible. So that's it. I mean, when you get to Amazon, the only version they have is version 4. And because I stopped dealing with a particular publisher, they were trying to soak me because I publish these like 50 to 100 at a time, so I can keep it fresh. And my publisher just wanted gobs of money to update their file with my print ready PDFs. It's really silly. So Amazon has version 4 that they're selling for an outrageous price. I saw one, it was something $250. Amazon. But what was the other one that you had mentioned aside from Amazon?
Thrift Book.
Thrift Books. I have not contacted them at all. I buy books from them kind of frequently, but I will look into using them as an outlet. I'd never thought of that. So
And as an
thank you.
observer, as an observer, it's it's a great book. And thanks for doing all the hard work. And it would be delightful if it was available in other sites so that others could find it more easily.
Well, one reason that I keep it close to my vest here is that I personally sign each copy that goes out the door. I love staying in contact with people who order the book, who have a copy. And, you know, I've had some relationships now, some friendships that I've made over the years, 25, 20 or more years since doing this. Just the conversations I have help teach me different people, just staying in touch. It's that personal touch, because it was for me to learn. Others, I think, from their responses, have learned from it, and I like that connection. So, I'm not in it for the big bucks. I'm never going to make the New York Times bestseller list. But I like staying in touch and keeping contact.
I have a question. I have your book. I bought it, I don't know how many years ago. I don't think, so obviously you're on the 7th edition now. Can you get updated one at a discount, or how does that work?
Well,
Can I send in my old one and get the new one?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if because in the book I provide writing spaces, place to make your notes. And if you have a full one, if you send me an old book that's been filled in with your notes, I'll send you a new book. What the heck, at no charge. How's that? So
Any old book.
well,
Version of your old book, they're asking.
any old version, a previous version, yes. And I'll be glad to do that. But you know that Steve Emmert has been working very hard, and I'm offering a club discount. It's $24.95, let's say $25, and it's plus tax and other things that go along with that. But by the time, all right, $29.95, yeah. So with a club discount at 25, and I pay the PayPal or whatever and the postage, each order, each book, with this group order, is going to save a little over about $13.50 per book. So, I'm happy to get it into people's hands. I can't do it for free, obviously, unless you send me the old book. Then I'd be glad to do that.
Peter, this is Suresh. I just had a simple question. You said you started in Chicago. I started in Chicago. Were you involved in any of the clubs there? Chicago.
Well, yeah, it's a Chicago Astronomical Society. Northwest.
Dan Joyce, Darren Drake, Tony Harris, those guys.
Please say that again.
Dan Joyce. Tony
Dan Joyce. Dan's been down here to Kentucky. He stayed with me a couple of times.
That's great.
Yeah.
I go back 40 years with them. I was just curious if you knew them.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Audrey Fisher and Greg Fisher and
yeah.
Bruce, a bunch of names. I've been down here too long. I've forgotten so many names. Jim Kuka.
Okay.
Kuba, Mark Kuba.
Mark Kuba.
Mark passed away recently.
Yeah, I heard that. It sounds like we both escaped the glare of Chicago to get to darker skies.
You betcha. I have not been out viewing in the almost 8 years I've been down here now, because my backyard, Bortle 4, I step out and on a good night I can see the Milky Way band and the Great Rift, and I have a narrow slot with the trees, but that allows me to focus in on a constellation or a couple of constellations every viewing opportunity I have. And so I don't get distracted and, wander all over the sky. I had a wonderful viewing site. This photo behind me, let's see, can we, let's stop sharing. Whoops, my background photo is of Cullum, site about 95 miles south of Chicago, where a friend of mine, Pete Nutini, and I used to go every opportunity. Pete passed away in 2016 and gave me his 15-inch obsession classic. And so I set that up when I have more than 2 nights in a row. Let's see if I can get a photo of here. There it is. Let's share this. There it is. There's in my bed. That's in my backyard. It's that 15-inch obsession, and I made a little table side for it that swings out of the view or gets closer as I need it. And the chair I designed from the Denver astronomy chair using hang glider tubing. And if I don't have it, I just want to grab and go. Let's see. Here we go. For my, can you see the Barska here? Let's see. I don't know, but I've got a pair of 25 by 100s Barska binoculars that provide me with my grab and go. I sold that 6-inch telescope, and I'm still kicking myself for doing that because it was such a nice little scope. But but I digress. Amazing how we do that. Huh? Any other questions?
Well, comments. This is Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
You do have a great book. The first person that talked was Jerry Jones, our observing chair.
Yes, sir.
One that include me and a few other people onto your book earlier. So I'm not going to give you my old book, but I am going to buy a new copy.
Okay.
But anyway, also, some of your earlier observations you were making during your presentation, I was feeling a lot of synergy with, because you mentioned the Mag 7 Star Atlas. I use that a lot. Only trouble is it's a really nice star atlas. It gives a good view of the sky. But, I'd go to look at things when I was in a dark sky site down in Florida, and I wouldn't, it's like, okay, here's an object. What is it? I don't know. That sort of thing. Also, I did notice this time around, I've never noticed it before, that you put a reference, what it looks like, to the Pocket Sky Atlas page on your pages, where I can find that, so you can do a cross reference. I think that's pretty cool. Not
just to PSA, but also to SA2K, the Sky Atlas 2000. So if you have that, I gave a reference to that page as well.
Cool. I didn't notice that. So anyway, I guess we've been going for about 3 or 4 weeks now with advertising on the forum, our Minnesota site discussion forum, advertising for the group purchase. And again, it's your normal price is $29.95 plus $7.95 shipping, plus all of that stuff. So at $25 a piece, that's a pretty good savings for us. And since you do autograph every one of them and put a note to the recipient, you're going to get writer's cramp, because at this point I've got 42 orders right now.
Oh, I don't have enough books.
Yeah, I figured that.
Well, wait a minute, just a minute. Let me see how many I got. I got 40, 32. I have 36 on hand, but here's the good news. I have 30 more coming.
Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna use
So,
a good chunk of them. So what I was gonna do, I wanted to tell the group here that we've had it open for about a month, and I was gonna close it before this meeting, but then once you came up and you were gonna do the presentation, I figured I'd keep our thing open until next Monday, October 6th, probably in the morning. So after that, I'm gonna have to cut you a big honking check.
I don't mind.
I haven't told
Steve,
my wife I'm gonna do that yet, though.
Steve, I want to just mention something that, the goals log and, sketching book. Should anyone be interested to go along with this order, those I'll do $8 each.
Okay, I'll post that note on the discussion forum, and then I think what I'll do is Sunday, I will put a listing of, okay, here's all of the people in one consolidated group here who's buying it, so people can say, hey, I still want it, or people want to add to it. Or if somebody says, oh, I think I'm going to back off, whatever. So I'll have a good list of stuff by Sunday night, and by Monday morning, we can have that in there too. So the sketchbook for $8, you said?
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
about half price.
Okay, cool. We will put that on there. I appreciate everything there, and I'll turn it back over to our boss man here.
Thank you,
Oh,
Steve.
Oh, yeah, one
Oh,
more
I'm
question,
sorry.
one
Someone's
more
got a
question, one more
question
question.
back here.
Shoot. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say before I just learned that we're not going to have a meeting in here, I was going to say I'll bring them all, or however many I can, to the next meeting. Probably what I'll do is, depending
Probably
on how
December.
soon I get them in my hands, I'll bring them to the BSIG coming up, and also to what's another event coming up around the 1st
We
of
got
November?
ELO and
Yeah.
Cedar Creek coming up, so we got a couple of
I'll do
events.
the BSIG and ELO, so we can bring them out there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the appreciation picnic. Okay, so anyway, I'll post it where I'll bring the things out, and you can try to meet up with me to get the book and pay me.
Oh, and Steve, how about this? I'll try to put a Post-it note on the front cover with the person's last name on it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna do that anyway, but okay, that'd be great.
You know,
All right,
help-
Steve, I
it'll
want to
help
thank
you.
you again for a wonderful talk, and we really enjoy your book, and we look forward to receiving your big box of books and enjoying them. So thank you very much.
And thank
All
you
right.
for the opportunity.
All right, I have a couple last slides I do need to share because somehow I bypassed this very, very important slide. So as soon as it pops up. Hold on. To share. There we go. All right, elections. I somehow bypassed the slide earlier on. So very, very important. It is election season. So we have 3 positions that we'll be voting on in December. So vice president for a 2-year term, treasurer for a 2-year term, and one of the board members at large for a 2-year term. So nominations are open. These positions are 2-year positions serving from January 2026 through December 2027. Candidate qualifications, members in good standing. Voting qualifications, members in good standing. Members shall not be responsible for any financial obligation to the society. So we are volunteers, so that's usually pretty much everybody. Voting in person or electronically, and we do registration through Zoom to vote through electronically. Voting by proxy is not allowed, so you can't have somebody else vote for you. You have to vote for yourself. And each membership is entitled to 1 vote. So a family membership, that's 1 vote. So the timeline for the elections is nominations are due just before the November 6th meeting. So nominations are due November 5th, 2025 at 9 p.m. Central Time. So that's the Wednesday right prior to the next meeting. And then elections, then once we have all the nominations, we'll compile the nominations. We will publish that information in happenings, and we'll put on the forum. We're going to put these the board elections for we will publish it in the forum and everything, and then we will have our elections December 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m. here at the club meeting. So quorum is 10% of the club membership or a minimum of 50 members. Mark, you have a question?
Statement, the members also includes the students also.
Yes, membership does include student membership. So send nominations to the email address boardmember1@mnastro.org, and that is Phil Ramsey. Phil Ramsey will be coordinating the elections this year. So please, that's another great way to volunteer for the club. Please step up if you're new. It's a great experience for your resume, and it's just an enjoyable thing to go and achieve and trying to better the society. So again, we've got a month of nominations, and then the following month we will publish the nominations, and so people can absorb and learn about the candidates. And then in December meeting, we will be voting. So, yes.
With the bylaw, somebody stronger membership or membership for 150 months, that's effectively that. So they're still a member, but they're overdue on their membership.
Okay, so.
If they're overdue on a membership, make sure you pay it before you come.
Right, so just make sure you're a member, official member, and you're good. All right, then lastly, so again, I want to remind the next monthly meeting will be on Zoom only. We do not have this room available. So our scheduled speaker will be Michael Bush from the SETI Institute. So again, and before this meeting, consider nominations for Vice President, Treasurer, and Board Member at Large. And don't forget tonight, Pizza Luce for those who want pizza, beer, and beverages after the meeting. So thanks everybody for coming. Dean, you have a question? Yes, we'll fix that. Yep, we need to fix that. Thank you. All right. Thank you everyone for coming, and